Hey fam, welcome or welcome back. Tisha here, back for another Real Housewives of Potomac review. Go ahead and do me a favor and hit the like button as we jump into this hot mess. Let me tell you guys something, and I want to know your opinions down below. For those of you who don't normally respond, I challenge you to tell me your answer to this question. Now, you don't have to, but I really just want to know. Are we buying that Gordon took these children from where they were at Jacqueline's house, being watched by a nanny, to drive them 4 hours to another nanny, to then hop on a plane and go to a planned vacation in Martha's Vineyard? Do we buy this? Because I'm not buying it. I very much so think that this was already planned out, that Gordon would be picking up those kids, because something about it just doesn't seem genuine to me, especially the way whoever was watching the kids responded when Jacqueline got to them. But this is a story that Mia wants to tell. In my opinion, if Gordon did indeed go and get those kids just to drop them off somewhere else and leave them, then he is wrong. And it proves that he is doing exactly what Mia accuses him of doing, which is trying to overcomplicate things, trying to control things. But I really feel like this was arranged before the trip. So she feels like he's taken the kids as a control thing, that he's lost his business and his wife, and now he wants to control the one thing that he control is the kids. She says that if she can't locate her children within the hour, she's going to leave. This is what she's saying on the phone. Mia, leave. Leave. It took them 2 hours via Sprinter to get to the resort. So if it takes you 2 hours to get to the resort, then what exactly are you waiting on if you're really concerned? If you really are in fear because of how unhinged this man is at times, if he's so irrational and if he can't be trusted, what exactly are we doing here? I think she's lying. I think she's doing what she does best, which is spin a narrative to try to make us feel sorry for her, but it's not working. So Mia, at this point, is trying to give us her best version of tears. I mean, she's sitting in the bathroom on the edge of the tub and she is fake crying and doing these breathing exercises because she feels like she's going to have a panic attack. I'm not buying it. You're making all these noises and breathing all hard, but nothing is coming out. You're talking about how if they can't find the kids, you're going to lose it. Is this what you losing it looks like? Because it's not giving that you're going to lose it to me. So Mia does all of this stuff, talks about how she's been trying to get in contact with the kids and Gordon and with this nanny and with that nanny and how nobody's answering the phone. Just for Jacqueline to come in there, call one person who immediately answers the phone on the first ring and says, yeah, the kids are with the nanny that they've known for like 16 years, the nanny that used to watch her oldest son, they're okay. And just like that, they're safe. When Mia has supposedly been trying all of this time to locate these kids, I call bull. And just like that, even though she was about to have a panic attack, even though she's been trying to find her kids all this time, she's ready to do tequila shots. Do we really believe this? Lady, you were just crying, taking out your little napkin to wipe these imaginary tears, and now here you are, and you're ready to take shots. I'm not buying it. She knew where her kids were. She did. So Stacy goes to visit Kierna and she tells her that despite borrowing toothpaste as well as deodorant from Giselle, that she actually misses Kierna. Stacy, I'm confused, because why are you forgetting important things? I know it happens. It just seems like the toothpaste and the deodorant. Are we normally this irresponsible, or were you rushing because you were coming from somewhere? Like, what's the story there? I'm just saying. So she says that she misses sharing a space with Kierna and she wants to move in with Kierna, but Kierna's like, nah, I'm loving my space. So we see the ladies head to the Sprinter and they're going to have lunch as well as do some shopping and do some rum tasting in Panama City. I love the fact that we're getting to see, even though it's not as much as I would like excuse me, it to be. Various aspects of the city. Panama looks like a beautiful place. The architecture is beautiful. The aerial shots that we're getting are phenomenal. The water looks pretty. Like, it looks like a great, great place. And I have officially added it to a place that I'm interested in going to see. It's on my list. One of you all told me that you went and it was really, really nice. So I'm interested. So Karen asks, Kiera for an update with her and Greg. And Key says that, she talked to Greg, and Greg is talking about how he's going to be eating pizza for all his meals because she's not there. I mean, you've already complained about her cooking. So is that a true statement? She's joking about it, but Greg isn't being shown in a good light to me. She's not. I mean, he's not. Here's the thing. I get it. Different people emote differently. If you see people on camera, sometimes, they're not as expressive. He may be uncomfortable with the cameras. There's a lot of comments saying that he doesn't seem like he's that into her. I can't speak on that. What I can speak on is the fact that there's a lot of references made in regards to her cooking, and because she doesn't cook, he can't eat. She isn't your slave, and she's definitely not even your wife at this point. Let me tell you something. I did that for my ex, y'all. You will never, ever in life catch me doing that crap again where I am working full time and I am coming home to cook a meal. It is not fair to have all these expectations out of one person when you're both working. As a matter of fact, she seems to be working a little bit more because she has her business and she's helping him with his. You can't take the traditional approach, for me, in my opinion, when it comes to a household, and I'm doing as much, if not more, outside of the household than you. So we're told that she met him right after her salon closed, and then she opened a spa. It was a month after his divorce. I wonder how long things were being done before that, but whatever, he felt like he was ready. I don't know. I'd be a little skeptical of it myself, but it was a month after her divorce. She says that the first year was rough because they were both learning how to navigate their new normals, as well as figuring out how to be in a good place with each other. At this point, they've been living together for 3 months, and now she has a routine in her schedule, and she says things are more structured because of his children. Their home will be completed in 4.5 weeks. So in about a month. Giselle brings up that, Ray told her that Karen gave him a list of things at the lagoon that needs to be done in order for her to do more in the bedroom. Because remember, she said her mouth was retired. So she wants simple things like for him to open the door and for him to travel south of the border. And she says that he's better at opening the door than he is, I think she said, visiting the village or something like that. I said, okay, Karen, Lord, you just telling all the Ray's business, but okay. You can't complain about what he's doing when you aren't doing anything yourself. You can't retire your mouth and then expect him to always want to visit your village. But they want to know when she decides to come out of retirement, and Karen's like, I'm not sharing that with you. So then we see Jacqueline whispering to Ashley about Mia not being able to locate her kids for like 2 hours, and how, upset Mia was. I think Mia thought that this was going to make Ashley feel bad for Mia, but it didn't land well because Ashley's still reeling over what was said the night before at the dinner table. So she's talking about how Mia had a panic attack and all those other things, and Ashley can't understand how Mia is so calm now, knowing that she was supposedly looking for her kids for 2 hours. I am Ashley in that moment. Because if it was that deep, that would have been the first thing that I would have mentioned to you all the second that I got on that sprinter, but she didn't. So Ashley isn't feeling it. And she's definitely not liking what she's hearing. We see that as the episode goes on. So we get to see some of the architecture. We get to see some of the streets. We get to see the clothing and the hats and the gentlemen who find these lovely women very attractive. And when he talking about how they like chocolate, I get it, girl, because there are some men that like chocolate. I need more of this. These are the aspects of trips. I know Tulips and Cashew the same way. We like to see the food. We love to see the food. We love to see the architecture. We love to see the landscape. We want to see what it is that you all came here for. We don't just want to see the fights and the arguments and all those other things. We want to feel like we went on a trip with you guys. So I appreciate when we get little, parts of these places that they go to. So their first stop is the spot where Karen says they could have had the Hatitude party because it's at a hat store. We see Giselle and Karen come together to buy Wendy and her daughter a hat because Wendy's been such a great host. She has done a good job. It's nice to see the ladies do more than just sit around. It's nice to see them explore. So they get the daughter a pink hat, and I think they got Wendy something that kind of looked like a visor. Wendy tells us in confessionals that it's not something she will wear. She don't really think it's that cute. I personally didn't really feel like it was something that I would wear either, but play dress up in it and have a good time. Or just keep it as a souvenir because after all, it did come from a place that your daughter has probably never been to. So Mia tells Kierna, Stacy, and Ashley about Gordon talking because they're shopping together, about Gordon taking the kids and bringing them to the other nanny and how he went to Martha's Vineyard. And Ashley feels like there's so many discrepancies at this point. She doesn't know how to feel. She thinks that at this point, the girl is just trying to get the heat off of her, and she is. Ashley brings up comments that have been made and how she doesn't like that, Mia doubled down on them. And she says to us that being Mia's friend is exhausting her. She tells Mia that she doesn't know how to show up for her because the stuff it doesn't make sense and everything is just being too difficult. And Mia's like, well, don't show up. And I wouldn't. It's not worth it. But you see how she is, so don't do it. They keep talking about it. We don't care. Giselle is talking about how at this point, she's not expecting anything from Mia because she's miserable. Oh my goodness, I'm missing a whole section. Y'all just go with me. I don't think it happened there. I can't remember if it happened there because they were talking about it more than once. Part of me feels like it happened there, but they had another conversation at the table. So if this is out of order, forgive me, but y'all get what I'm going. So Wendy starts talking about how Giselle is better than her because her reaction would have been different. She would have cleared the table had those things been said about her daughter. Now, what's been said off screen is that Mia actually used the word and basically said that they were hoes. Break tools. Tools that you use from the garden. That's what she called them. And I think that production taking that out and not giving us further context would kind of explain, if people knew that's what it was, why people are so appalled by this and why people can't understand how Giselle was so calm. So, Wendy's like, I would have cleared the table. But Wendy, I don't know if I really believe you because here you are calling Mia your friend, befriending a woman who assaulted you, and I just can't get with it. Maybe she would when it came to her kids. Well, hopefully we don't ever have to find that out. So next they head to the rum tasting. The food has already been pre-ordered, so they walk in. Wendy is bragging about how Giselle likes her best to Stacy because she bought her a hat. I don't know how I feel about this Giselle and Wendy dynamic. Part of me wonders if she's doing this because she wants to remain on the show, because after the way Giselle tried to ice Wendy out and the things that she did to her and Candace isn't innocent, be clear, I don't know if I'm understanding this whole thing. So I'm just going to say this for the sake of the show. So Key and Mia give Wendy a gift. It's a little banana shaped bong. She thought it was an adult toy. They laugh about it, and then they talk to Karen. They're like, Karen, are you going to drink? And Karen doesn't plan to drink. And she tells us that she doesn't have to be sober. She's not sobriety, her words. But she ain't drinking around these ladies. So Jacqueline says, we aren't driving, so this would be the time to drink. I mean, she's right, but I think Karen knows that the optics would be bad. I also think she doesn't want to let her guard down because she's still trying to hold on to the fact that she didn't do anything wrong. And maybe, I don't know, if she were to get too intoxicated around them, she might end up slipping up and telling her story. So Ashley steps outside to call her kids. Wendy reminds them that she pre-ordered the food. It comes out. It looks good. When Ashley returns, excuse me, the ladies play a game where they would pick a name of a person in the group and imitate them. It was cute. Kierna does Stacy and how Stacy apologizes. She imitates Mia by standing up and holding the bottle and rubbing the bottle and acting like she's going to put it to her mouth. Giselle and Karen imitate Wendy. Jacqueline does Karen. Stacy does Ashley's dancing. They make a joke about how Giselle says, and nothing. In other words, like she'll start saying something like she's going to come with it and it's nothing. She can't finish her thought. She's not a good reader. It was nice to see. I laughed. I'm glad no one got offended. They then imitate Kierna and Greg and how she's always talking about Greg this and Greg that. She's asked by Karen, I think it was, about, one of her good dates, and she talks about how they traveled together early on because they felt like if you can travel together, then that means a lot. Anytime I've traveled with a significant other or friends, there are bonds that occur while on trips. So I can get why that statement was made. Jacqueline then talks about how Mia, knows that she has WAP. And Ashley asked Jacqueline and Mia if they ever did things together with Ink because they both have admitted to sharing partners in the past. Now, Jacqueline talks about how it was so long ago that she doesn't remember. The fact that you don't remember that, and I'm not slut shaming you, but it makes me wonder exactly what you had going on and how many partners you had that you can't remember something like that. But Mia is looking at her like she's crazy, and she later does say sometimes Jacqueline talks too much. Interesting how you and Jacqueline have told us all these things about you, but you want to say that she talks too much. Do both of y'all run your mouth too much? Mia's like, we didn't share ink, but at some point, we might have shared his best friend because she messed with his best friend. I think she said that, or she just said that. Anyways, Jacqueline's giving details. Mia said Jacqueline was with the best friend, but her and Jacqueline did shower together with ink. She feels like Jacqueline does. It's great to explore your sexuality with your best friend. Wendy then tells the ladies, like, we're going to go to our next venue. We got to change. I get that she wants to show up in something different at different things. We all do it, but I would have wanted showered first, and I definitely wouldn't have wanted to change in the bathroom. But they change in the bathroom. As a result of this, some of the ladies are talking about how they need an iron, all this other stuff, but the ladies are good sports about it. So they're back in the Sprinter. And Mia decides that this would be a great time to catch up with Ink and FaceTime him. So she's on FaceTime and she's telling him how she misses him and how she's going to come to Atlanta and see him as soon as she gets back. Now, she's trying to tell us that she's doing this because she has a son that lives out there, but you ain't talking about seeing your son. You're talking about seeing him. So Stacey and Ashley are in confessionals and they're both like, how about you go home to your children? How about you, focus on them? And your man, he can wait. Stacy then is talking to TJ and she's excited to see TJ without his shirt on. Girl, you sometimes come off as so desperate. I like Stacy at times, especially in her confessionals, but you getting excited because TJ has a shirt off and you don't normally see that is not helping the situation. And then of course, when she gets off the phone, she says, I love you. The ladies do a toast. Stacy says that she read about Kierna's case because they're at dinner. The table acts surprised about it, and she's like, yeah, I'm suing Deborah. So Giselle's like, I didn't know this was a thing. And Kierna says, it's going to be a thing until I say it's not. And I don't blame Kierna. You can't assault me, cause me to get stitches, and think that it's not a thing. We find out that it's both criminal and civil. They had already took care of the criminal portion, and she decided to do something civilly as well because of all the things that she's had to do since that. Giselle is like, how is that going to work when she doesn't have any money? And Kieran is like, I don't care how she has to get the money. I don't care if she has to get it from her man, from her dog, from her cousin. It doesn't matter to me. She's going to have to figure that out. I agree, because Deborah showed no remorse about the situation. I don't even think Kierna originally planned on suing her, but because of how she was going to social media and the things that she was saying, she did what she felt she needed to do. So Giselle is ordering her food and Karen's food, and Wendy tells us that Karen and Giselle really do secretly love each other. They're like an old 50-something-year-old couple. I'm interested though in seeing what their dynamic is going to look like now that Karen has been found guilty of this DUI charge. I do feel like they care about each other, but I also feel like these two ladies understand that they need one another in order to be on the show. And I think that this is going to cause a rift between them. Y'all tell me what you think. So Key talks about how Ashley, walked out while they were shopping. And Ashley's like, yeah, I was really overwhelmed. And Stacey's like, yeah, I mean, so was Mia. Mia had a rough morning. Mia was overwhelmed too. I'm trying to get her voice. She was overwhelmed too. So she's like, yeah, I couldn't locate my children in the morning. Gordon took them. They were 4 hours away, and it took everything in me not to go and get my children. Mia, you're a liar. It didn't take everything in you. We saw you sit on the edge of the tub, and then you talked about you want to take shots. If it really took everything in you, you would have been packing up and telling production you're on your way to get out of there because you already called to get a ticket to go to where they're at. So Karen says, do you have full custody of the kids? And Mia says she does. And Karen's like, look, I've been through this before with my ex-husband. He wanted to take my oldest son out for a ride, and he thought he was playing games, joyriding with my son. And I drove 3 hours, called the police, showed up where he was at, and I got my child. Mia's like, I don't know what to do. So Giselle then takes the time to say, I still need to talk about what you said about my girls. Mia's like, I apologized to you last night. And Giselle's is like, yeah, off camera. I'm with Giselle. You talked about my kids on camera. You need to apologize about what you said about them on camera too. Mia says, I'm sorry. You have certain parameters when it comes to an apology. I mean, it was probably a poor example by me using them, but I'm being authentic to my story, and the things that I'm putting on social media. And I just don't want to be scrutinized because I'm being authentic. You're not being scrutinized because you're being authentic. You're being scrutinized because of the way that you're going about this, because you aren't thinking about your kids. We don't care what you got going on in your marriage. It doesn't matter to us. What matters to us is the fact that you have pulled these kids in here. You pulled paternity in here. You're talking about mental health like it's a joke. You're playing around with it, and you're doing things that isn't right. So that's the thing that we have issue with. And you contradict yourself left and right. Because even now, spoiler alert, her and Ink aren't together anymore. They broke up, and she's back to posting pictures with Gordon. So what are we doing here, Mia? This is the reason why people got a problem with you, because you're a liar. But you've been a liar since you got on the show, and it's production's fault that they decided to keep you around because they enjoyed watching you screw over others, right? Mia starts crying, and Ashley's like, I just don't know what to think at this point. Mia, you do a lot of things in an unconventional manner, and I don't know how to take it. And Jacqueline's like, this is a lot, you guys, and y'all are adding a lot more stress to her life with all these things and all these complaints. And Giselle's not trying to hear it. She's like, we're not going to excuse her behavior because, in other words, she's been doing this the entire thing, this entire time since she's been on the show. And she doesn't like the fact that she's made disparaging statements about her kids. But girl, she's made disparaging statements about everybody, not just your kids. So Ashley, Giselle, Wendy, and I think it's Karen are over it. They're tired of her antics. Karen kind of makes some excuses for it. Stacey's all sympathetic because she makes herself the topic of discussion, and she's the one who does these things, not them. And we get flashbacks of it. Mia is like, I thought that we were here to celebrate liberation, and instead of liberation, it's a bunch of miserable itches, says the B word, that I'm at this table with. So the ladies are looking around like, who is she calling miserable itches? Because none of them are miserable. Wendy's like, woo, these 613 women are a trip. They are a trip. And Stacey doesn't know what 613 is. And if I'm going to be fair, I didn't either. Because let me tell you something about me. We find out that it's a blonde hair color, but I don't use that. Like, this ain't no 613. What is it? This is a 1B, and my hair isn't even a 1. I just like black. My hair is like a 4 sometimes. In the summertime, it's a 4. In the wintertime, it's a 2. No. Other way around. Yeah, no, I said it right. Summer 4 because it's lighter. Winter 2. Right. And I think this is a 33. Anyway, the point is, I don't know numbers that are that high because I've never put no blonde that's that blonde in my head because I don't really feel like it goes well with my skin tone. But when he's like, woo, these 613 women are a trip. And Stacey's like, wait, what is a 613? So then when she finds out that it's the color blonde, Stacey's like, okay, she tells us, the only person that should be wearing a 613 is Karen. Mia, Mia looks like a goddess in brunette, but that blonde doesn't work for her. And Giselle says, Mia, you wore 613 as a stripper. And Mia's like, yeah, I wore it as that color as an entertainer. And Karen's like, look, Mia, you got some work to do. You got some things to repair. And it's going to take time to get some resolution with this group. And that's how it ends. If there's something that I left out that you want to talk about, put it down below. I'm going to try and get my Married to Medicine review out tonight, but I haven't watched it yet, nor have I ate. We'll see. Let me know what you thought about this. Thank you guys so much. Until next time.